Come on, honey, it's time for school.
But Mum, I don't feel well.
Oh, honey, you feel like you have a fever. Let me check your pupils. Oh, I know what fever this is.
Directly under the post, loom for him at dummy half. On to Marcus Marsh. Gives the ball out to Hasselman. Hasselman's got plenty of room to move to Schmoodle. He goes, the line is over!
Good footy, boys.
They had the numbers, Aberdeen. They had the score, but Schmoodle in a good dry part of the field showed great strength. And Timmy Bridget, dummy half. Long pass out the back to Jake Watts. Into Topless. Topless has found room to move! He's under the posts! Stone lead! 8-6!
Great job at Thomas. A little change in direction again. We talked about it early. A little step off the right, then the left, and straight under the pace.
Yeah, just a change of direction and pace.
The defence came up hard, Bomber, and gave Hayden Topless.
Well, boys, it's that time of the week again. Our chat on the lounge, on the couch with the Footy Fever boys. Thanks to Bengalla Group 21 Rugby League, Steve Reynolds, and the offsider Matt Kenny today has decided to join us again this week.
Mate, big chair to fill here with Benko's chair, mate. I tell you, he's been a bit of a failure this week, mate. He's what's going on out there, Benko? I'm not sure.
Well, we actually had a conversation with him before you turned up on the phone, and it's old age by the sounds of it, dementia's kicking.
Rickets.
But he, I think I've set the precedent because I wasn't here last week. Now it seems to be okay that people can have a week off.
That's okay, mate. He's been here for 9 rounds. We'll let him off for that one, mate.
He's doing a good job too. It's great for these people that are promoting Group 21 to come along and get involved. And let me tell you, we put the call out there to the clubs. I've had a lot of contact, Matty, from the clubs.
That's good, mate, isn't it?
Involved. Our sponsors, the Bengalla company, is with them today. Can't speak highly enough of what they're doing.
That's
and
great,
what they've
mate.
provided. So this is the last week of us with ANZ Stadium behind us. We're tearing it down.
Really? I thought it was already turned down, mate. I think you're better behind, aren't you?
Well, we're just...
Have they already started that?
Tear it down a second, so it'll be right.
We're just living in the past with the good old ANZ, but we're going to tear ours down, and there's going to be new graphics up there of our players in the Group 21 competition, so that'll be fantastic, and all the club emblems, and but enough about that. Welcome Pete Holland to an end, Pete.
G'day boys, how are you?
Very well. Last weekend, great weekend of football. It's great to have you in commentary.
Magic round out there at Scone on Saturday night. It was good.
Pardon the pun.
Hopefully the lights stay on here, not like up there on Saturday. But
we will talk about that.
We got around it. It all got done.
Yes, no,
it was a great round of football.
It was a good night. It wasn't the result. It wasn't a close match that I predicted, but it was
when the lights went out.
Yeah, it was until the lights went out. But with us joining us as well is Daniel Hoogerwerf, who must have given a big shake up in the dressing rooms at half time up there at McKinnon Oval, mate.
Yeah, they were calling me Jason there for a while. It wasn't a good look, but no, thanks for having me, boys. Happy to be.
Yeah, went into half time 9-2 penalty count down too, and only just out in points. Like
a lot of that was our own doing. We were very poor disciplined, and off the back of some poor errors coming out of our own end, we brought it all on ourselves, to be honest.
Yeah. A lot of players out as well, so there were some people filling in positions. So we'll talk about that. There's still a lot of people to come back in the.
Yeah, we've shown depth in reserve grade too. We've got some boys coming in doing a good job. There's some young fellas there, Taylor Pryor and Hayden Bell, who I was impressed with on the weekend. Some good kids coming through, so future's bright for us, I think.
How good's that Cameron Savage?
Yeah, he goes all right. I won't probably butt too much because.
Is it true that you're calling him Kevin Reynolds on your little Snapchat group?
Yes, that's his name. You're his best buddy, aren't you?
Oh, I'm best mate. I hardly ever speak to the bloke, but every time he sees me, he's got a big grin on his face.
Yeah, he
sung
loves
his praises a fair bit.
He loves the exposure, old Cam.
Yeah, he's doing really well, and hoping to get up there into that hydro chamber too of his.
Works wonders, mate. It's a really good thing. I've been using it for my injury, and it definitely speeds up your recovery. So
yeah, right. Maybe that's what I need.
And more than hydro charging, but.
Now, last weekend's games, boys. Of course, it was the Where There's a Will round, as we spoke about. Up there at Scone, it was, like you said, magic round all the way through 35 games in Junior League, Senior League. I think they put on a fantastic effort. You know, the organisers, Mick Reynolds, Jason Crowther, and the Where There's a Will people behind him, they need to take a bow because it was one of the best things I've seen in rugby league in
A
country.
lot of feedback from the junior league clubs as well. Up through there, I talked to a few of the senior Singleton clubs anyway. After that, big raps, a lot on Sookbook there, mate. A lot of photos coming out of how well it was organised. Kiddos getting their medals. The under sixes, I think, all got a participation medal. All had their socks on. All really proud to wear it. So, mate, again, hats off to the guys who organised that. I think it was a fantastic day up there, Pete.
Certainly was. And as you said, anything that's been on Facebook has all been positive, and so it should be as well.
No, it's a great thing.
Where there's a real cause, and we'll talk about that game because it was funny on Saturday in the commentary, and you would have seen it on Facebook Live. We're speaking to Pauline Carrigan. Singleton were on the attack and were on a bit of momentum, and of course the blackout happened.
It hurt them.
Look, it's the third time I've seen a blackout happen there in the whole time, 13 years of covering the competition. But apparently, I think it was John Johnson in the middle of the field said, "Do you reckon Will's up there and done this? Because he's been an electrician and that."
Absolutely.
And apparently, that just even talking about what the significance of the day was, that's what lifted them.
Yeah,
and you did see that because Singleton had the momentum.
Yeah.
They had a penalty. They were on the attack, and it really looked like they were getting the upper hand of the game.
But we talked to Aaron at half time. What's he? And he said, we put it to him whether he did that blackout change it because we saw it and Pete picked it. The Singleton ruck speed was very slow or slower. They just got on top of it and just started to turn that around. They were sort of attacking the line. Yeah. Going to say 30, 40 yards out. Lights go out.
Yes.
Bit of a scrum in the middle of the field. Scone get together. Very, very, very tight scrum. And I tell you, that they turn around 180 degrees. And I tell you, they pump Singleton like you wouldn't believe it. And I tell you that the field, the goal that Singleton should have taken. Yeah. 8-all going into half time. I'm sure you'd rather go in 8-all than 16-6 at half time.
Yeah, definitely.
Big decision make there.
It's a funny old thing. A stoppage in play. It can be your worst enemy sometimes. Same as half time, And I actually watched the game on replay, and you're right. Singleton didn't look like they had the upper hand, but the lights
She
going
fell
out.
apart quickly.
It took them a little bit to start to warm into the match at first, and then they did get on a roll there and were really holding their own against Scone. And then the blackout caused all sorts of dramas, but I'm still mystified as to why they didn't take that kick to level it up at half time.
I did catch up with Joy on Sunday to make what we were thinking, and he said, "Look, hey, captain's out there, makes a decision." He said, "Look, if you don't take the two, there better be a fairly big do set. Like it's got to be fairly hard because you're either going to score the try or you're going to get caught down in that end, one or the other." So A didn't take the goal, B didn't D up. 2 tries later, she's 16-6 instead of it potentially 8-all. Yeah, and that was a game turner. Yeah, and it basically floodgates open. And hats off to Scone. Everything they did that turned to goal. Timmy Smith caught high balls like you wouldn't believe, uncontested by Singleton. Yeah. A few of those 1%, you'll call them, just didn't execute very well from Singleton's point of view. Forwards didn't go forward. Yeah. Scone's forward they were battering him, and their speed off the line. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Singleton's kicking game was well down.
Yeah,
there was probably 2, maybe 3 kicks all match. Yeah. That
found the target.
Did something decent. The rest were very.
Yeah, that's one thing that's been frustrating me throughout the season. Other than the fact that wingers and fullbacks aren't attacking the ball and off the kick-off they're letting it be outside. It's a pet hate of mine. But where was I going with this? But the other one was not finding the space in the kicks. I'd rather see a sharp, hard kick downfield at a decent gradient than a bomb up in the air straight to the fullback or kick downfield.
It's harder for a winger coming out of his own corner as opposed to on the full, and it takes the shape away from the defensive line too if you're caught in a corner. So yeah, I agree. Definitely got to find the grass down there somewhere.
And you've been doing a bit of kicking from dummy half as well.
I got my kicking licence taken off me about 5 years ago. So.
Out of the forwards club. Yeah. But certainly Scone's speed off the line, and I know Aaron spoke to him at half time about their speed. It slackened off a little bit just before half time, but certainly when they came back out, right up to, I'm going to say, within 5 minutes of half full time, their speed getting off the line in defence was impeccable. I tell you, and they shut Singleton down in that space. And I tell you, it was a great part of the game. I tell you, one we can all learn from. I tell you, if you can match that speed off both in attack and defence, getting the ball carried. John O. Johnson lost nothing after Adam Closdale went off. John O. Johnson just carried him forward even further. So, it was a like for like change there as far as I can see with John O. going and Adam going out. But their speed, just taking those front rows forward and then off the line again, it just really contained Singleton well.
But Scone 60 defeated Singleton 6 in that game. That's the score. That was the final score in that match. But look, in a match that I thought Singleton, they're very depleted at the moment as well.
7 out, but again, can't dwell on that. The boys did have him.
But Clydesdale, when Pete, we've spoken about it, he goes into dummy half. We're talking to another one of the best hookers in the group. He goes into dummy half. They walk in straight onto the ruck.
Yeah.
You know, they're looking both ways to see which way they're going to go. Why aren't the markers going? Why are they both going the same way? Or
They weren't
getting
splitting,
caught?
were they?
No,
They were both jumping to one side, he'd just go the
I'm
other.
a big one. One step to the right, and then see if you have to move out further.
I think the hard work's been done by the blokes laying the platform behind him. He's such a good hooker,
Yep.
Adam, but also their forward pack's got to take a bit of credit. If they're not going forward, Clyde's not as effective as what he is. You know?
Totally agree, mate. But that marker work, that's just 101 marker work, isn't it? You know, the split and work, follow, whatever it is. I mean, that's basic stuff. You get that right, and it shuts down a lot of those plays. But again, get it wrong, and a bloke like that, all these players, will punish you like
It has to be the team that beats Scone is the one that matches them. Like Singleton did their role on, Aberdeen have been there, but it's for 80 minutes that line speed. That's where Singleton, Scone, the fitness, they're getting up. Like, as I said on the weekend, I was getting frustrated because at later stage of the game, Singleton were going up 2 paces and coming back with them.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than being
They
up
were
there
on
and
the
putting
back
pressure
foot
on.
that whole second half.
Yeah.
Really. And
So-
you said it through the call there. You know, there were guys who were ducking up out of line, and the halves then were just going, oh, here's an easy ball back inside.
People
More
shooting
territory made.
shooting out of the line, especially against a side like
Keep
Aberdeen.
that straight line a lot harder to go through.
Yeah.
Fun.
And Aberdeen,
28-20. Talk us through that one, Hughes.
Tale of two halves. It was the Devon boys. They shocked us early. We come out. I think the completions at half time were 40-odd%. So not even close to a first grade standard. And on the back of a 9-2 penalty count, and that was majority of that was our own fault, our own poor discipline. So we addressed it at half time, and the boys come out second half, and we were definitely a lot better. We completed at 92% in the second half.
Wow,
So.
that's high.
but even the turnaround straight after half time, immediately after half time, 2 quick tries, and of course Liam Foran had one of the best games. He's a big name player, NRL name, but I've seen him over the past few weeks. He's looked frustrated at times where he's taken that front rower hit up, and he's really made some advantage to try and spur it on. But across the board, I mean, the bloke walked off hobble and looking like two busted knees, 2 busted ankles, and a busted hip. He gave it his all. No, he got player of the match with the Will Carrigan.
Foz is he's actually been the captain for us the last couple of weeks, and he's really taken that on board by showing the boys the way just with his own ability. So
Yeah, he's got the best kicking game. But the 9-2 penalty count in the first half, like that, it comes down to discipline. That's seriously what it was. It wasn't really a 50-50 call here and there.
No.
It was discipline.
discipline's a bit of an area we've got at the moment against Singleton the week before. I think we give 3 or 4 back chat penalties away.
You gave away back chat penalty, playing the ball in your own 20 metres.
It's
10
not
metres.
acceptable, and we've addressed that, mate. And hopefully we can cut them out for the rest of the season.
So they had the ball, 1-on-1 strip, Matty. Old mate's getting up to play the ball. Corey Martin's blowing a penalty against him, and we're like, "What's this for?" And he did the whole back chat. I'm thinking, 10, 12 metres out from your own line, you
that's
just
sort of
strip
basic
the
stuff,
ball.
Their own goals, aren't they?
So
Coach killers.
there was a few 50-50s there though that throughout the day, different plays. But I still go back to, I'm not the first grade coach for any side, and Adam Gretsch taking the decision to take those 21 minutes to go. They had a bit of momentum on you. I would have kept attacking.
It showed a bit of respect to our defensive line. I think we gave away a lot of ball. We did a lot of defence on our own line, but we held strong for a while. We caved in the end, but I think that was a credit to our defensive line on our line.
21 minutes out with that kick in, it does put you on the back foot a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What do you do then? You straight on.
They'd been penalised all the way down the field, and then they got the opportunity to keep going with a couple of plays and potentially go for a repeat 6 against these guys. And they just it was building at that moment in time, and that's what Banco said. Maybe Adam Gretsch has made that decision to calm the troops down, but I still go back to it because off the kick-off, Foran did the banana kick and it went out the sideline. Aberdeen scored.
There you go.
So that it was just front plays like that, but it was always enjoyable watching Aberdeen and Devon in first grade. It's just like for me, Aberdeen and Singleton in reserve grade. I think they're fantastic.
It's always a good muscle up, isn't it?
So reserve grade, Scone 32. I'll run through them and then we'll talk about the games. Scone 32, Muswellbrook 6, Merriwell 16, Burrundy 14, Aberdeen 42, Denman 8, and Singleton 24 versus Greet at Brixton 14. Now the last game, You were at that one.
Yeah, I watched that one, mate. And again, that's again the 24-14 probably doesn't reflect. That was a pretty tight game, and it's always a good match up between Greater Branxton and Singleton. What I will say is after that game, a lot of camaraderie. They all went back to the establishment, had a quite sherbet together and a talk, which was good.
Yep.
You don't see a lot of that.
So Greater Branxton?
Come back to the local sponsor there, which is good. And I think more that we can promote the better, particularly now Reggie's. But a good game of footy, tough game of footy. Greater Branxton certainly had Singleton on the ropes for quite a period of the game.
Yep. Christian
Again,
Kirby had a big game, and
Kirby again, he's playing his pop
passed away
there early, so he certainly had a lot to play for. He ran the team on,
Yep.
captain the team. I think the first half was adrenaline only,
Yep.
just carrying the heart on the sleeve as Christian does. But he played really well, mate.
Yeah.
Big games for a lot of people up there. But look, Greater Branxton, it was a tough game.
Yeah.
Tough game and unlucky to win. Singleton come away with the chocolates in the end, but.
And there was a lot to play for Singleton, and of course, number 16, the captain under 12s ran the Singleton side out in respect for the people.
Yeah, Carl Gilmore, he's the number 60 young Blake. Tragically died there last week, as we all know. We saw the bucket go around at Scone. I think another $1,200 come out of that.
Nice.
Even after the weather's well as.
That was the bucket going round.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think it might have been as what's his mum.
Yes.
Kept round. I think it's about $1,200. So thanks very much for that, guys. That's gone to the Singleton Club, and they'll ferry that through. But yeah, Carl he ran the side out on Saturday. So the Singleton Junior League, they've actually retired the 16 Guernsey, so that's out. And Carl captained the side on Saturday night as well as Sunday. He also backed up in Sunday, play reserve grade as well. So a lot of emotion for the Singleton Club on that Sunday game.
It has been.
Yeah, for sure. But as they do, they'll regroup and come back together. So we'll see how the boys pan out.
Aberdeen 42 defeated Denman 8. I know you only get to see the first half of that game, but
The Denman boys held our boys for the majority of the first half. I think the floodgates opened there late in the first half and then in the second half. But our boys are always strong in reserve grade. They always have been, and a couple of late signers before the June 30 deadline. So I expect them to have a big back end of the year. They're going to roll through full of confidence.
there were some fresh names in that side that was really good to see too.
Yeah, Shelby Stevens. I think he come from Rugby Union Musselrook, and boy Matty Jones. I played with him at Quarry. He's a good young player.
Yep.
A couple of other boys there that got late. So Liam Wilton came back to tackle.
Oh, I saw a photo that he pulled off a good shot on Facebook. He'll probably get a big rap out of talking about that, but he did have a great defensive, and to see that image actually be caught in time, that was a great shot that he put on. He had a big game.
Yeah, he played well.
But I also want just before we move away from Aberdeen, Hayden Bell played really well the past 2 weeks that I've watched him play in the centres for you in first grade.
Billy, he's done a job for us, no doubt. He's a good young kid and great goal kicker too, and scored a nice try on the weekend. So I'd like to see, hopefully he keeps his confidence up and keep playing.
I think your best sign has been Tyler Prince Campbell, though. I don't know whether you guys would agree with me, but he's been great. You found his way, he was in the centres there for a bit. I think he's doing a great job in the second row.
He's a great player, Tyler, and we're hoping to lock him down for a couple more years at the club.
For sure.
I'll be doing it. Yeah. The Merrywall 16, Murrundi 14. We spoke about this before we started the show, but it was only in the last couple of minutes Merrywall got home. Murrundi.
Apparently so, yeah. Like I had some friends up there who were relaying scores back, and Murrundi seemed to be all over Merrywall in the first half and were leading at half time. But I was shocked when the full-time score come through, because I got one with about 10 to go and Murrundi was still in front, and then 16-14 in the finish. Nathan Barry maybe a little bit happier after the last couple of losses that they've had, but I'm sure
What's
he will
the
give
feeling
them a good
like
run.
out there? Because, like I said, I've been out there and played when we played for the Musselburgh Sharks, and back then that was a good rivalry between the Merrywall, and they were on top of the ladder back then. And I remember the atmosphere around the community, having spent the year out there and 2 years out there with my former partner. But the community really gets behind the Merrywall, and when they're winning,
When they're winning, more of them come out and
There's
get
a
to the
bigger
games,
buzz.
and makes it a lot louder, which is great for Merrywall. But now that the Magpies having a great season so far, a couple little speed humps there that they went over the last couple of weeks, but hopefully back in the winner's circle now, and the town do get right behind them, so it's great.
Yeah, and the Scone 32, Musselbrook 6. I think the captain coach for Musselbrook has now done a season, he was the first grade captain coach. I apologise, Mick Henry.
Yep.
I believe that I could be. I haven't confirmed it. So saying it was a broken shoulder blade. Did we hear on Saturday?
I think
Saturday
it was,
night we were
yeah.
told
And that bloke
dislocated and broken.
collarbone too. So
Big job on himself there.
he's gone. But he's been
A bit of
fantastic.
blow for Musselbrook.
Fantastic for the club, especially putting his hand up for captain coach of first grade. Musselbrook not getting the first grade and then staying on with the club to play with the reserve grade guys. But I think Johnny Deacon and Mick Deacon are doing a great job with that side. But Scone's reserve grade side, like I said, they could challenge any first grade
Oh,
side.
I guarantee. I was just about to say the same thing. The depth that Scone got in that reserve grade side.
Yeah.
Like some of those guys, or most of those guys, were around in first grade last year, or if not the year before. Mate, and can still cut it in any first grade side, I'm sure. So, mate, it's going to be a tough one to beat. The Single and Scone in that space, I think, is going to be a big one. But don't necessarily, Merriwell and Murundai, who takes it out? I mean, again, we talked last week about that reserve grade competition. She's wide open, mate.
Oh,
anyone can take that one off.
It is. But the under-18s match 2 draws, 12 all in both matches. Scone, Musselbrook, and Aberdeen.
Unbelievable. I thought it was a misprint when I read the scores on Monday. And then come up with the 12 all in both games.
Well, Aberdeen and Denman game, I did get to see the whole game. I thought it was fantastic, both sides. Like we said, 18s is the best football of your life. And those guys are out there having fun, but it was a penalty goal to level it up for Aberdeen. And they were lucky to hold on there in the end with a few attacks from Denman. But
So what's changed up at Aberdeen? Like for a lot of years we haven't had 18s in Aberdeen, which has been a bit of a bugbear for us. And this year you've come back so strong. What's been the driving force about bringing that 18s together, mate, and getting them so competitive?
Shane Miller's he sort of brought these boys through from a young age and stuck with them, and they are kids from a couple of different Musselbrook, Scone, and he's had them since day dot. They actually won the 16s comp last year and did too. Right. So, and the majority of that side is younger. I think only Ryan Brown and Jacko Dunbar and Nick Collier are the only older ones there. Yep. So Shane's doing a great job, and he's got all them young kids firing. You see the likes of Jack Price and them kids who are still got another year 18s. It's exciting for our club to have these kids coming through. You know what I mean? They're all going to be future first graders, I hope so.
Certainly this year's 16s. Got quite a few Aberdeen representative Group 21 players playing in that 16s team as well.
Dever, Tommy Dixon,
those boys, exactly.
It's an exciting time for us.
Absolutely, you get that sort of coming through as well. Hopefully that bit of development keeps going in the junior league space, mate, and then starts to build on that first grade comp, which is what we're trying to build. Isn't it? The 18s is what feeds that first grade comp, and if we can keep Aberdeen with that strong side, feeds through. In a couple of years, we could see a 6 or 8 team competition again.
You're looking in the reserve grade, like for Aberdeen, you've got players there like Grazier that could still go around for another couple of seasons. Sean Milwin's probably got another 3 or 4 seasons in him easy, and Dave Manane, with that experience, with what you've got coming through,
absolutely.
It's just, I think it comes down to setting the tone of training about training's training. We can be a good social club in training, but like you said, the number one thing at the moment is discipline, and it's
across the club. We're working on it, mate. And numbers are down at training. Like I think everyone spoke about it with shift work and that sort of stuff, but we're just trying to. Do you have training like Scone seem to? And this is the word that we've been told is because most of them are on the same roster as Scone. We know that they have training might not be a Tuesday, Thursday set, but they'll have a Tuesday, Wednesday night. Do you guys sort of have extra training? Or Tuesday's club night, so we all train together Tuesday night, and then Hass sends a message out sort of Tuesday, Wednesday, who can train Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, and we just base our ball work session around that. So that's awesome. Yeah. That's
well, it's moving with the times, and I mean, shift work's not going to go away.
Yeah. Well, other clubs don't do it. They just go Tuesday,
Thursday. That's what you get.
If you can make it, you can make it. But no, it's great if you're changing things up a bit.
Well, it's working for Scone.
Yep.
Definitely is.
There's a recipe. But I know that some of the guys, that same thing, Friday night, they might still have a run for guys that couldn't get to the other sessions and drop a few players in. But it's just something we have to work with. And like I say, it's not going away.
And to move on to the ladies' league, Aberdeen girls, 40 points defeated Denman 4. That would have been great. Club vibe for the club.
It was great. Their first win in a number of years. Kelsey French has returned and she's made a fair difference to that side. I think Layla Haggerty scored 4 tries, so it's great for the girls to finally get a win after a long time of battling away. So the club could be more proud of them. Yeah, it's great for them, mate.
And then of course you had the jersey auction afterwards that you guys done really well with as well.
I think we got close to 12 grand, mate, which is great for a little club on a Sunday night at the Aberdeen Bowling Club. So we're really proud of what we raised, mate. Yeah.
And of course, Murrumbidgee had theirs, and per capita did fantastic on these running gun figures.
They
6.5.
raised about. Yeah, I can't remember the exact figure. I had it all in front of me on yesterday at work, but
I think it was 6.5.
no, it was well in excess of 50 grand was made
Yes.
on the day, and was still got clubs to auction
Still got
off.
clubs to auction off their jerseys, yeah.
More jerseys as well. So.
And it was great to see from an Aberdeen club to the number 14 jersey. They went out, you guys chipped in and brought it for young
Brock Foreman. Yeah, Kim and Josh Stockerman kicked it off early in the week, mate. Fluffy was obviously one of Will's best mates and a lifetime friend, and we done the same gesture for Liam Wilton, who another one of his best mates a couple of years ago. We all chucked in, and we kept it a secret from Fluff, and yeah, the tears were rolling out of his eyes when he got presented the Guernsey, mate. It was pretty special for everyone.
Yeah, good to hear about that. Like, you don't hear about those things, you know. And I read it and thought, you know, that's a club, and that's what keeps people coming back. And if you happen to be there, like I know Mick Reynolds was kind of chuffed about it. That this is what an idea that your club had done. And I fully condone your jersey auction at the beginning of the year, where you auctioned off the rights to the jersey and the first try scorer. I think that's a great business plan. So
yeah, mate, we're just trying to think outside the box, and as you all know, you've got to raise money to get players, so we're just trying to work it out the best we can.
Absolutely.
Any other secrets you got coming up?
No, can't give more away, mate.
Murrumbidgee 10 in the ladies defeated Merriwar Zip.
Yeah, that was the half-time score. So Merriwar must have lifted in the second half to to hold them out. Don't let any more points leak through.
They're a very classy side up at the Murrumbidgee. I went up there.
Both sides are.
Oh yeah, well both of them are. But they really turned it on up there the other weekend when I was up there watching the reserve grade, first grade ladies for Musselbrook. I think it's Gracie Gallen plays up there, and there's also I can't remember the halfback's name. I think it's she's partner to Steve Simpson. I think I might be corrected, but fantastic. Fantastic effort, and I think they're going to be hard in the ladies' league tag come the back end of the season. But the Merriwar girls, they've taken out the CRL 9s at the beginning of the year.
Sure, mate.
They've been together for a number of years.
Well-drilled team.
Gaynor's the captain coach of the rep side that's going ahead now, and you've got Taylor Blackadder and Jess Morgan as well that have made that side.
Keeping it all in the family.
Oh, well, it's all related out there. Like, if you're not, it's a third cousin or something.
Pretty much, something like that, I think it is.
No, it's fantastic.
That'll be a good one. I think that's what you're going to see on the green. We'll have a look at Scone.
Yeah.
58 blot against Musselbrook, and they're the leaders in that field.
Yeah, there's too much standing off the likes of Sophie Casson and Maddie Watts.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those, and Beck, someone in the 5'8" position. I'll get a message through, but she, without a doubt, there seems to be, it's the same as the first grade playing against Scone, move up and then back off a bit, but those players you really need to attack. You need to get the defensive line straight up.
Take the grass off them.
None of this shooting out one at a time, because that's when Sophie Casson and the likes, Rebecca Hill, they're going to pick you to pieces and make.
Oh, classy size, and again, it's a competition that's reasonably close up around the top 18, 14, 13. I think they are in the top 3, so there's still plenty of room to move for those 3 sides, or 4 sides there. But again, Scone's in a class of their own again. But Murrumbidgee and Merriwar, again, same as in the reserve grade, always a really tough game wherever it's played. Very, very close. It's always good footy. Yeah.
And the ladders for first grade, Scone are on 18 points. They're way out there, undefeated. Just on that too, there's been a decision made that no one in Group 21 can win the Clayton's Cup this year. I don't know whether you guys were aware of it. I think that come from a CRL directive.
Because there's only 4 teams in competition?
I think that's it. So they're undefeated. That's a bit unfortunate for them, because I think even if there was 5 teams in the competition, it wouldn't matter. That's a class side. So Aberdeen are on 8 points, Singleton on 6 and Denman on 4. Aberdeen and Denman meet again this weekend, and Scone and Singleton again. So that'll be very much a determining point, I think, moving towards who. We're not many games left in this back end of the season. If Denman can't defeat Aberdeen this weekend, I think that would make a big struggle for them to host the minor semi.
Well, it's starting to spread out now, isn't it? I mean, like I said, there's only up to round 9. What about 6 rounds? Including this round.
Got a washout round coming up.
15 rounds in the competition, so six rounds or thereabouts.
Merriwar are on top in the reserve grade on 16 points with that game ahead. So, but for the long weekend they played the match there. So that'll drop off. Scone 15, Aberdeen 13 points, Singleton 12 points, Musselburgh 10 points, Murrundi 2 points, Greater Branxton 2. I think it's open slather from 5th to 1st. So I think Mick Henry is going to really hurt Musselburgh, I think.
Oh, definitely. Like I saw him play a couple of weeks ago against Merriwar, and he was the difference on that day.
Yeah.
And without him, Musselburgh are going to struggle.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on the reserve grade club?
Yeah, mate, someone's going to be disappointed there, aren't they? It's a 5-team struggle, and like you said, Mick Henry, he's the first grade player in any side in this comp, so I think Musselburgh will struggle without him.
Someone's going to really have to put their hand up, I believe. Under 18s, Matty?
Mate, Singleton on 17. Again, that's a little bit different last week. Maybe the points were a bit different. Musselburgh 11, Aberdeen 10, Scone 9 and Denman 5. But they've had a couple of points taken off due to a breach of some sort there, mate. Again, we spoke about this competition here. All games of a 12-all draw.
Yeah.
What have we got there? Another 6 points. Well, there are about 7 points between first and fourth.
Yeah.
Again, competition's wide open there. As you said, they're huge. Whoever stands up on the day could potentially win that competition. Again, Singleton out in front, but again, they've had their moments where things haven't gone their way.
And Denman nearly rolled them out there.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. It's not a lay down as they're going to win, as in terms of do the competition. Although Higo's got them running fairly well up there in Singer, it's not a lay down as they'll have to show up every day to make sure that they're still on the top at the end of the season.
And the ladies' league tag. Scone on 18, Murrundi 14, Merriwar 13, Singleton 9, Musselburgh 8, Aberdeen 6, Denman 2. Again, it's the fourth spot's very much up for grab, even with the Aberdeen ladies just running on that adrenaline after their 40 to 4.
Be good to see them charge, wouldn't it? Make they play the fourth.
There's nothing. They certainly do. They're still putting out scores, reasonable scores like that, mate. You say got a couple of players coming back.
Yeah, Kelsey French. She made
whether
a difference.
they're in the leagues of Scone and Rundles and Merrills, but hey, they've got something to shoot for there. There's certainly on
That
the
fourth
back
spot's
of the
up
wing.
the ground.
Absolutely.
So,
make the finals. It always spurs you on, if not this year, next year.
Yep.
Now this weekend's games on Saturday, Greater Branxton take on Aberdeen at Greater in reserve grade at 3 p.m. and the ladies' league tag. No ladies' league tag in that one. I'm just trying to read that. But Greater Branxton Aberdeen. What's your thoughts on that one on Saturday at Greater Branxton?
Well, what is my thoughts there? It's going to be tough. Boys, Aberdeen off the back of a reasonable win there.
Yeah.
Trouble again.
You saw Greater Branxton. That's what I'm asking now.
Greater Branxton are tough at home. They're going to be a tough side. I'd nearly say Greater Branxton are going to roll you on that one, mate, based on last week's what I saw. They're a tough side.
Now, I'll ask you after last week's performance, and now we're coming into the business end, are there any changes to the first grade squad they're looking at the moment?
Marcus Mars is out this week, and Richie Graham's suffered an ankle injury, so I think we'll require a few of them blokes to back up for us on Sunday. So.
Yeah, right. The other game being played, Merriwar versus Musselburgh out there at Merriwar at 3 p.m. and 2 p.m. in the ladies' league tag. What's your thoughts?
These games, when they were played in Musselburgh a couple of weeks back, were real close in both grades.
Yep.
Merriwar seem to grow an extra leg when they're out there. I think both games will probably go to the home side, but they'll be hard yakka.
Oh, definitely. And out there, if they can get a vocal crowd behind them, I don't know whether people go around door knocking. Wouldn't be hard to do, but home crowd. Look at
they hear that microphone fire up on the sideline, and then they smell the onions on the barbie, and down they go.
But it is. They've made it before. I said a bit of the cauldron like it was back in the 2000 era, 1999 to 2001. It used to be daunting playing out there. They used to have the utes around the hill. All the turners were out. There was a very loud local crowd. Merv and Mick and that giving the sledging from the sideline. People say you don't hear things when you're out there on the field. Sometimes you just can't not hear playing at fullback when you're stuck there. And you just
Look, there are some good voices out there that definitely make sure they do get heard out on the field.
Yes. Look, like I said, I wish them all the best, but Musselburgh really, someone's going to have to put their hand up now and steer that ship with Mick Henry gone. So, it's going to be a cracking day. But Sunday, it's where it's all at. For the first grade fixture, Denman taking on Aberdeen at 2 p.m. in reserve grade, Denman versus Murrundi at 12:30. In the under-18s, Denman versus Musselburgh And in the ladies' league tag, Denman versus Marundai, a good mixture there. So I'd say it's going to be a pretty decent sized crowd out there at Denman.
Mate, it's always good when you get 2 or 3 clubs coming to one spot. I know the England a couple of weeks ago was quite Marywar and what was it? Marywar and Scone.
Yeah, Scone was it? Or
there's a couple of different. So it might have been Aberdeen actually. Yeah. But you get a couple of different clubs going there. It's always good for the club, good for the gate, good for everything there in terms of that. So it will be a good crowd. But again, I think in the ladies' league tag, I think Marundai is going to be way too strong there, unfortunately for the ladies. For the Devils, Denman Mussy 18s.
That's going to be a
big
clash.
It's going to be.
I like it.
It's going to be a cracker again. Everything's locked up in that space. Denman Marundai and the reserves. Yeah, again, going to be tough. But I think I'll tune the Devils up there at home. And then Denman Aberdeen again. She's going to be.
I don't think Squirt will let it come down to the wire again.
No.
Like it did for up there. I think that Marundai will be.
You reckon?
Oh yeah, look, and they've got a lot to play for. You've got to remember, we don't want anything to come of it. But the last two, there's a bit of passion there because of the last time, the incident with Ryan Holland. So they've got a bit to play for. I just plead to them to be responsible and keep the discipline. But just a clean, hard match. I think Marundai would be hard to stop. In the first grade match, Devon versus Aberdeen, have you got any players back this week that are different from last week?
Yeah, Hamish is coming back. He shift work last week, so
You did miss him out in the centres.
Yeah, he's a big inclusion. Hamish, he gets through a mountain of work, and he gets our sets off to a good start. So I think a couple of Hinchos racing the clock too to be fit. So I'm waiting to see.
Look, quick question for you. Coming up, like we've got the 14s in first grade. How do you come up with something different each week when 9 times out of 10 you're playing them back to back? How do you come up with something different for the second week of taking them on?
It's really hard. I think we just try and stick to what we're good at, trucking the ball out of our own end, good completion rates and kick, and wait for Denman to make an error or Scone or Singleton to make an error. I think we've sort of got to focus on your own game plan and pulling it off to a T.
Have you found it harder this season with only the 4 teams?
It is hard, yeah. It's not ideal for anyone, and it's to an extent boring for some people. You play the same teams back to back. It's hard, but like you got to deal with what you got, I suppose.
The rivalry's there, though.
Definitely.
Having the referee mic'd up and hearing some of the scrums, there's obviously that very passion there is playing each other, and knowing it. It's obviously there's some personal battles happening out there.
There always is. Some boys like to get inside other boys' skins. That's a plan for some.
Because it is. It hasn't been around for years, but it's also in those 14 competitions I coached in the 18s one some years ago, and to keep them excited was tough. But it's almost like meat and potatoes footy for 13 games of the year, because that's all you need to do.
Yeah, that's right.
Really, and you'll always make the finals, and then start pulling some. Later in the season, you might try something different or add some sort of zest or game plan. But people are very quickly working out through the videos that the Footy Fever team are doing and Chick working out people's how they're
I
actually.
still haven't worked out that in Clydesdale.
Well, they have.
Joe Ricks running across the field picking up topless.
Let's just say that the coaches have the players might be a little bit slower
but
on the uptake.
Even when Scone were doing really well on the weekend at 60-6, Aaron Watts still wasn't happy because he expects perfection. Some of the players.
He's an angry little man, I found.
I think it's good. I think that he expects it from them. And
absolutely.
And they deliver. They do deliver.
Yeah, but the other game being played, of course, on the weekend is where are we at? Scone versus Singleton in the ladies' league tag at 10:20, 11:20 in the under 18s, reserve grade 12:30, and the big one, which would be at 2 p.m. Would it be?
I'm guessing it is. It's not up there, but that's exactly.
We're going to have to stack up.
They're having the week off.
We're going to have.
Where it is, but there's a rematch going on there.
Enough points scored last week, and that's it. They've called it off.
My wife does this stuff behind the scenes. I've got to give her credit there, but
fantastic job.
she actually spat it and said, "That's it. It's Benko's job next week." So
put him on the spot.
But Scone Singleton, it's got to be hard for Singleton especially.
Well, we just spoke of for quite a while here about some deficiencies in both sides that we saw. Surely the two of them. Yeah, I'm not sure what the issue was there, but I'm not sure he's back this weekend either. But surely, if you went up there this week and saw the same game, you'd be scratching your head. But if there's, obviously I've seen that and I've changed things. I've moved this person here to change or to combat the 60 to 6.
Yeah.
It'd be okay. Yeah, okay. We've shuffled here, shuffled there. But if it comes out at 60 to 6 again, I mean,
Did you get to that game?
questions like to be
I watched the replay on the Footy Fever, and
Do you think the Will Newhouse experiment in second row may have been a bit detrimental there? He's better out wide.
yeah, I don't know. I think you can probably put Will anywhere and he'll do a job for you. He's an excellent footballer.
he touched the ball once at second row, out of dummy half, scored a try.
Yeah,
Didn't go so. He's just a bit closer to the footy. I think that's the strategy. Is just getting him a bit closer to the footy, a little bit more often.
Yep.
Again, he was there for 6 or 8 minutes, and I think it's an MCL tear, so should be right because we got this weekend, the washout weekend, and then back. So hopefully we'll be back in for that game. But
Jimmy Bradley, what's the news on him? James Hardy,
Jake Hardy again. I'm unsure. Jimmy Bradley's was a hamstring.
Yep.
Jake Hardy's was an ankle.
Bailey Schultz.
Unsure. Bales is somewhat different. He's got a torn ligament on his hip.
Yep.
That was after that Denman game
Yeah.
up there a few weeks ago. So he's still recovering.
Young Thorley bounced back.
Very well.
Very well.
Oh, Fogarty.
Fogarty.
Yeah, from a parent
There you go.
Achilles.
Ben Thorley giving him a rap. It was on on that green whistle. We thought, this is dire.
Yeah.
They've lost 4 players in that one game, but
It'll be interesting though.
They're going to be. We won't know the full potential
No.
there until the back end of the season.
Yeah, you're right.
When there's a 16 competition, as you know, come those last rounds in the semi-finals, even the semi-finals, the team usually changes.
Completely different. Blokes start taking days off work and all that sort of
Absolutely.
thing. So you finally get a crack at your full strength side.
I'd look out for the next. So it's round 10 this week. I said round 9. Round 10 this week.
Yeah.
Look out from about 13 onwards.
That's what you said after the washout round.
And I think after the washout round,
Yeah.
again, I think you're right. These people have actually got their roster. They've put their annual leaves off well in advance, so it's all sorted. The roster becomes very stagnant.
Yeah.
It's very flat instead of same team each week, and that's where I'd suggest that have a look at the captain coaches. The coaches around the world are going to start pulling out a few extras and just say, okay, let's run this week.
Yeah.
Something different to what we have been running.
Is Haas going to be putting on the boots, you think?
There's got to be something in the back pocket.
He's got to be.
Season.
We've got to.
Yeah. Do you think?
Has?
Yeah.
Come on, please. I might as well put them on.
Really?
Come on, Has.
That is a massive call. Are you going to do a run it straight with Haas, are you? I want to see this out the back.
I've known
Can
Has
we
for
tee that up?
He'll probably break his kneecap.
I've known Has for a bit.
Do you reckon he will, though? Do you reckon he will?
I hope so. He's going away to Cairns after this weekend. He's got a 2-week holiday, then he's back. So I'm putting the pressure on him, but he's not okay at the moment.
Victor are going to do some work, some money there.
Well, that's their jersey auction money. Colin.
Put the order in Victor straight up, eh?
Yeah. What do you think about the Scone versus Singleton match up again this weekend, Pete?
Look, Singleton for part of that first half did hold their own, and that's the part of the game they've really got to look at and see what they were doing right to be on that front foot against Scone.
Yeah.
The try when they decided not to go for the kick before half time, and then a couple of quick ones after, into the second half, I think really hurt them, and that's when they really dropped their bundle.
I think they've really got to shut down. We could say any player Clydesdale right through, but Radford is making so much hay.
He tore them apart.
He did too.
It must be frustrating to play against the bloke sometimes.
He
sort of to see him keep coming.
He sort of lobbed on the scene there last year and sort of come from nowhere, and he's the form front row in the comp at the moment by far.
His speed is
But he's going at the end. Like he won't be here for the semi-finals. Like that's it.
I had Ben Hagen, so I'm scaring you. Did you
know that?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Really?
We can't confirm it, but
neither confirm nor deny.
That's
it's a strong word that Ben Hagen has signed for Scone.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Well, he would have done it a week ago.
Yeah.
The books are shut now.
I'm hoping that Ben keeps the season off. I do for himself. So that's my fingers crossed. But I mean, it would be great for Scone. But I think they've got a lot of depth there. Jakey Collison and the likes as well. So
Benny would just add another dimension. He's a great footballer still at his age.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, look what he did last year. Came back with 4 round games to play in the competition and a premiership, and he's going to do it again.
Mate, that's all you got to do. Easy this game of football, isn't it?
I'm here for thinking, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, do you think that any team can be beaten? Do you think that it's going to take a team to do 3 training sessions a week to get the fitness up? Do you think?
I
I mean, I know you'd be confident in your own team.
Yeah,
that can
always.
do the job.
Fitness is, if you're not fit by now, you're not having a go, are you, really, I suppose. We're confident in our own team when we get everyone on the park and we turn up on the day that we're going to test anybody on the day, so we're backing ourselves.
Yeah.
So I know in coaching rhythms, you generally build up to a speed and then you'll rest for a period and then build up. You got the washout round after this weekend. Anything planned? She's a down day, then ramp up towards the end of the season, or what's the strategy there, mate?
We're just we're hoping to hit our straps then, and boys, like I said, boys taking off shift work, and we could try and get some continuity in our side because we haven't had it all year. Every week we've got 2 in and 5 out, you know. So it's hard to get any sort of momentum, but that's our plan running home. We really pick it up from
Have
there.
you got anything planned for the washout round, like a reserve grade versus first grade hit out to keep that?
No, I think we've got some fundraising on actually, to be honest. So
all right.
Be all hands on deck for that.
Oh, that's the Holland games, is it?
No, the Holland games this weekend, and there's a thing on it.
Pete, you got to tell me that.
Yeah.
Thing on it said,
It's
some Earth Fest or something on it, said, you know. So
Fair enough.
we're doing a barbecue there, so.
You seem to be very much community involved. Like at the moment, how is it going with those egg and bacon rolls on a Saturday morning?
Yeah, I've done it half a dozen times now. But 5 o'clock, me and Fitzy there on the barbecue, so it's good. We sell it every Saturday morning. People come and get a coffee and their paper and grab a bacon egg roll on the way. So it's good.
Well, I find it hard that some clubs, Matty, we've been around long enough and I've played, to get those players out of bed to do that role, but the likes of like Hoogs, Liam Foran, even those type of players are getting up and chipping into their club. That shows a good form.
It's good club spirit, and I think in some way, shape or form, guys that have been put on a bit of a pedestal, think they're a bit bigger than the game. So I'm a first grade, I don't have to do that. Yeah. Well, every club's a small club, and it doesn't work without players getting involved. And if players aren't involved, look, the club will fall apart. And what you've got up there, mate, is brilliant. You know, if you're getting your first grade players to come and do that, fantastic. You know, that's what.
And you're doing a lot of
pulling
junior
in the
league
same direction, which is a good thing for the club.
And they turn up to the junior league games.
That's it. That's it. And that culture is what you got to breed, and that camaraderie or whatever you want to call it, the vibe we'll call it. Yeah. But if you haven't got those first grade players on board, that'll do that. Visit junior league, go down there and see those guys, because for me, every junior league players' aspiration should first be to play for their club, for their town, and then NRL, and then whatever they want to do. But the first aspiration should be, I want to be a first grade Aberdeen Tiger or a Merrill Magpie or a Denman Devil or whatever. That should be their first. I want to be like that guy there.
And if you've got your top grade guys going along to the junior games, handing out a medal or whatever at the end of the game, go up for the man of the match, those kids are going to stick around and want to play footy a lot longer.
Especially the likes of Hoogs, who's synonymous with Aberdeen. Liam Foran, who has got the big name that comes along with it. And
I'm sure the Ritters and them blokes and the Jimmy Bradleys and them boys are singing on, they all do the same thing, put the time into the kids.
Oh, they do.
They're
it's just absolutely, yeah.
They're our future.
Match of the round, Pete. What do you reckon?
Match of the round this weekend. We could have
grades.
Right, first grade you'd have to be looking at Aberdeen and Denman again. Denman at home, maybe.
What do you reckon?
Just never know.
Matty Kenny, match of the round.
Oh, look, so the Greater Branch and Aberdeen match in Reggie's is going to be a good tussle. I'm sure it will be, no doubt. So, as will the Scone Singleton one in Reggie's. Not that the first grade matches aren't going to be good matches. They all are, but I just find they're going to be a little bit closer. I think you'll find in terms of matches.
I think it's a Denman Murrundi for me in reserve grade. I think that's going to be a very, very tight challenge. I'm really looking forward to that one. But first grade, like you said, Aberdeen, it's going to be a good one. What about yourself?
Aberdeen, Devon. So
Which way do you see it going?
I'm interested in the Merrill Mussey result in reserve grade. I think seeing how Mussey will bounce back after losing the captain coach.
That will be interesting.
And Merrill are sitting just holding on to the ladder on top. So
good call.
Right, boys. Well, thanks for your effort tonight. Thanks, Pete, for coming along and commentating last weekend. We'll be back out there again this weekend at Denman. So now they've got the wireless mics back. You're happy about that, aren't you?
Go Roving now.
Go Roving. He loves it because we've got it all the system back now that you can have the wireless microphones and he goes to the bar. That's if you want to say. If we
that's where you find the most intelligent conversations.
Whenever and I remember back a few years ago before we go dead, we went, okay, Matt Kenny, like we went through to him for a comment on the radio. He goes, oh, I'm just in line to get a steak, boys. Thanks, Matty. But he was amongst the people too. I'm just sitting down over here talking. We're at Greater Breaks and he's sitting around, he's going around the different parts of the oval.
That was just about 5 a few years ago.
Yeah,
it was good fun.
Good fun. But yeah, we've got the roving mics happening again, so you'll probably see one of the young boys try and hit you up at half time to have a quick chat. So if you've got time for that, it's great that the players are getting involved, because after all, this is us volunteering to make sure that the group is promoted, and as much as the players can do, come on the couch, doesn't take long, and by all means, we're not professionals, so put your hand up. This is about you guys and promoting Group 21. Matty, thanks for your time.
Always, mate. Pleasure.
See you again next week then.
Sure.
Dan, thanks mate,
Thanks
and
for having me,
all the
boys.
best this weekend, and it's great to see you healing well too. So.
Yeah, coming along. So, cheers.
You this weekend playing?
No, couple more weeks.
Couple
so,
more weeks?
Yeah.
Righto. No problem. That's it from us in the Footy Fever. Until next week, see you later.